absolutely should have been dismissed on the basis of the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act. And that's fine. You know what? The right way to do it is the California law. I mean, I hate it, but you don't use the court system to say something is illegal that is not illegal. Just pass a stupid law and let us challenge it there, I guess.
Right.
We're Arms Attorneys. Today we are talking about what in the heck is happening with Glock. Stick around, we're going to talk about all of the lawsuits. We're going to talk about the new California law making lots of things illegal. We're going to talk about whether you sitting at home right now are in danger of losing your Glock or it becoming illegal, because Glock is also doing some strange things. But before we get started, show your support for the Second Amendment by hitting the like button. And if you like guns and you like news and you like us, go to the armedattorneys.com website, sign up for our newsletter. I promise we do not spam you. We are very judicious about it, once every couple of months or as the news requires. Sign up. We will keep you informed.
All right, Glocks. Lots of things happening. We're going to take these a little bit out of order, but it all arrives at this kind of ultimate discussion. You know, Glock just announced that they are discontinuing, it looked like 30-ish models. We'll flash that up on the screen of their handgun. Now, Glock's great. I like it. I have a Glock. I enjoy it. It's a fine gun.
That is one of my everyday carries.
Yeah.
Right? They're great. They're great. Who doesn't love a Glock?
And so I think folks were a little surprised when they saw Glock announce, hey, we're discontinuing all these models, ton of even version 5 models, kind of new stuff, and they're replacing it with the V model.
The V.
And they say they're still going to support all their old stuff. It's all about innovation and whatnot, but it may not have so much to do with innovation as they just are getting buried.
Yes, if I were Glock's attorneys, which, just to be clear, I am not nearly smart enough to be an in-house attorney for a corporation like Glock. But if I were, I can only imagine all of the Glock attorneys beating down the executives' doors saying, we gotta do this. We gotta cave to the tyrants.
Yeah,
which is what they've done.
Well, and I don't want any hate for Glock here. I mean, this is about, they can still deliver extraordinarily great pistols without bringing this maybe unnecessary heat down on them. And I think that's really,
it's risk
the
mitigation.
trade-off.
Yeah,
that's the
fair.
trade-off. So,
all right, what's happening?
So, they're facing a handful of lawsuits, and just as recent as October the 10th, they had a motion to dismiss one of the suits in the state of New Jersey brought by the New Jersey Attorney General. Basically, it's a very long, whiny petition, but which
we've covered in the past, by the way.
Yeah, we have, and really they're just like, hey, this is all a bunch of nuisance. This violates does not fall under the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act. That people are posting on Glock's Facebook page, links to switches, and so Glock is advertising. It's all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the basis of the lawsuit, right, is that you have these Glock switches.
Yep.
They make the Glocks readily convertible into machine guns. They're so easy. And you would say to yourself, well, a bad guy can take Sudafed and make it into methamphetamine. Is that Sudafed's fault? And the answer from all the courts, especially in the state of New Jersey, is sure the heck is. Sure the heck is Glock's fault that bad guys do bad things with their guns. And so you have this long, whiny petition that's like, oh, it's people do this thing and criminals do it. And look at all these shooting incidents we can pull up where the criminals had the switch and they print the Glock logo on the switch.
And that's Glock's fault.
Right. How is that Glock's fault? Look, pop culture, rappers glorify switches. Okay. Like, as a human being, if you are not mortified by modern day rap music and its lyrics, you need to fix your moral compass. Now, as a criminal defense attorney, I'm often very tickled by the lyrics, but as a human being, I'm mortified.
Yeah.
So if that's your metric, I mean, come on. It's just the petition is ridiculous. And I'll stop and let you continue forward. But okay.
Well, but ultimately, I mean, what they're asking for is basically order Glock to stop selling these things in the state of New Jersey, take corrective action, pay all kinds of attorney's fees, all types of fees to abate the nuisance, what have you. Okay, so Glock said, hey, we need this thing dismissed. Judge denied that on October 10th. So we're backing this timeline up just a little bit.
Right.
And right following this, hey, motion to dismiss, we have a new California law.
We do. And I let me back that up a little bit by saying they wanted it dismissed on the basis of the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act,
Yep.
I believe is the the majority of the argument, which exists. It exists literally and actually was passed into law to protect firearm manufacturers and sellers from lawsuits in nuisance. It exists to stop the kind of thing that is happening right now. But of course, the government is corrupt. The government is corrupt. That includes judges. That includes all the way up to anyone you can think of. And I think ultimately you have activist judges who are like, I don't like guns, and so I'm going to weasel my way out of this thing because it absolutely should have been dismissed on the basis of the Protection of Lawful Commerce and Arms Act. And that's fine. You know what? The right way to do it is the California law. I mean, I hate it, but don't use the court system to say something is illegal that is not illegal. Just pass a stupid law and let us challenge it there, I guess.
Right. Yeah, because this amorphous challenge from the state of New Jersey, and we're just using this one as an example. There's other lawsuits.
There's
several. But this one makes it pretty clear. I mean, this is squarely covered by the PLCAA.
Yes.
What the court is saying, hey, this thing can proceed. Basically, they're trying to get this case over with. The cost of litigation extremely high. The court kicking the can. Yes, that is a tough decision. That's where people get in trouble, and judges just get so much discretion that it's not going to be an abuse of discretion to say, let's ride this thing out and let it go on to a jury. Now, I'm sure they could appeal that denial for the motion to dismiss. Maybe a higher court would have, I don't know, ultimately kick it back and say, hey, you need to reconsider this thing.
New Jersey.
No.
Yeah,
But I'm talking
exactly.
about under ideal circumstances.
Right.
Not New Jersey. So
Justice held.
relief not really in sight in New Jersey. Looking back over at California, though. All right, and I knew I did these things in an order for a reason. I mixed it up a little bit. This Glock motion dismiss was on October the 14th. Backing up to October 10th, that's where we have our California law, our Assembly Bill 1127, which creates this new category of machine gun convertible pistols, and it attempts to ban these things.
Yes, and it covers all your Glocks. And also several others, it looks like. Smith & Wesson.
Yeah, a couple of Smith & Wessons, some Shadow Systems. There's a handful of others. But, it's a lot. It's a big deal. And to Emily's point, yes, this is the way that we want. We don't want gun control, to be clear.
No.
But this is there is a right way to go about these things. It's not using activist judges, because really they're kind of the final line. We'd rather fight it way upstream like this.
Correct. I mean, this is how the system works, right? You elect stupid governments, your stupid government passes stupid laws, and then smarter people challenge those laws, and then you hope that the judges are the mechanism that fixes it. So this is the stupid path that stupid people are going to go down. California shows us every time how that works. But it's the right path of stupidity.
Yeah.
Am I making sense?
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Because ultimately what we're looking at, and this is where, I will say is more clear in the California case, making it a more target-rich environment for constitutional challenges as opposed to the Glock case in New Jersey. Just to compare the two, we're talking about, does Glock having the ability to sell whatever firearm they want in the state of New Jersey fall squarely within the ambit of the Second Amendment? Well, I can tell you what the New Jersey courts are going to say. No. And then that's going to get litigated for a decade. Maybe they ultimately come back and say, oh, yeah, you got us. This falls. But regulating a firearm itself, this is what California is doing. That clearly falls within the Second Amendment.
It does. And this is, slippery slopes. Everyone hates it when lawyers talk about slippery slopes, but this is a slippery slope, right? I mean, if you can say we are going to criminalize an item that is otherwise lawful because bad guys can take the item and make it something illegal, well, at what point does blowing glass become illegal because you can make a meth pipe out of it? Well, I mean, that's your
that's what everybody was saying.
Slippier.
Yeah, well, that's what folks were saying with, the ghost gun regulation, the 80% lower regulation, that is still being upheld as being constitutional. But this is every Home Depot a gun dealer issue, and it kind of looks like it the way that things are going, and so while yes, slippery slope, maybe folks just think it's kind of a lazy argument. It's not when we're with these issues, because we know exactly where these are going.
Yep. So we've got Glock discontinuing, which we talked about at the very beginning, all of those models. Samir, flash them up, right? All of those models. And then you have these lawsuits and you have this law going into effect. So what this means for you is very different depending on where you live, right? If you live in the great state of Texas, Richard, and like I have a Glock on that list, what happens to the Glock I own?
Yeah, nothing. And that's going to be the majority of folks. Your Glock is not criminalized.
Right. And like even New Jersey, I mean, the remedy they are seeking is basically what Glock just did. They're saying, well, you shouldn't be allowed to sell these things anymore. And Glock said, we're not going to manufacture and sell these things anymore. Like,
yeah, nice move.
Okay, that was a fair. I understand where their attorneys are coming from on that one. But, you know, California, I'm sure that there's no grandfather for, I mean, I guess
what they're prohibiting is the sale of these machine gun convertible pistols. So, I mean, the next logical step is the ban of machine gun convertible pistols. I don't know that we have that.
Okay, all right, fair enough. I should have read further into that.
But I just think there is a tinge of irony here because we had presidential candidate Kamala Harris less than a year ago touting her gun owner status, having a Glock, and then within a year the state of California is like, yeah, we're banning that.
Yeah, no, someone was like, that lady doesn't need a gun.
Yeah, is that maybe that's why this bill passed. But we hope you enjoy this discussion. If you did, consider subscribing, hitting that like button, and help us fight the anti-2A algorithm by sharing this video.
And as always, question and comment for us below. Don't forget to head over to armedattorneys.com, sign up for the newsletter, and until next time, we're the Armed Attorneys.